I told my friend a few weeks ago that I was finally reading Harry Potter. I ended up taking her up between that time and while I was still reading it, and so she told me that Dobby, Dumbledore, and Harry Potter die at the end. Thanks! Because Harry Potter was very popular, it's still very popular today. Various important parts have been spoiled for me, including the death of Dobby and Dumbledore. My friend already knew this, and so when she told me that Harry Potter died too, of course I would believe it, and that's what I kind of want to talk about today. Deaths in Harry Potter. Throughout the series there was a bunch of deaths. Some of them didn't make me all that sad. Perhaps it's because I just didn't grow up with the characters. Perhaps I just knew that some of them died. I think a third reason is because of this. Cedric's death really bothered me. I never fully understood why, but it just incredibly bothered me, and I refused to accept it until I finished reading the final book. That's when I was like, okay, Cedric's dead. In the seventh book, Fred dies. I loved Fred and George. They were both incredibly hilarious and all. And I loved both of them so much. They're just awesome. And so when Fred died, for some reason I was not that disheartened. I actually never realized why I wasn't too sad about Fred's death, but I was really upset when Cedric died. I didn't realize why I felt this way until the part towards the end when Harry Potter is dead. You know, when Hagrid is carrying Harry into Hogwarts and people think he's dead, Voldemort thinks he has killed Harry Potter, and then Navile I thought was going to die, and if he were to die, I would have been really upset because Harry was still alive. He was just, Navile didn't know that, but I knew that. But if Harry was really dead, then I wouldn't have been too sad about Navile's death. I love him and all, but I would have really understood why. Because Harry has always been the symbol of hope. And when hope is dead, who would want to live in a hopeless world, you know? Huh? So when there's no hope, you kind of like, screw everything! Anyway, if Navile died while Harry Potter was still alive, Harry is still alive, Hope is still alive, I would have been depressed because his death would have been kind of, I wouldn't say pointless, but pretty much. It wouldn't have monumented to anything, but kind of like Cedric's, you know? But his death was kind of pointless. You know, he didn't die for anything he was passionate for. I don't think he would have been willing to die the death he did. I mean, in the Triwizard Tournament, he was willing to enter it, even though death could have been knocking at his door. And if he were to have died during the Triwizard Tournament, I wouldn't have been bothered because he knew what he was signing up for. He knew what he was getting into, and he was willing to die for what he was going to do. Kind of like everyone in Dumbledore's army, or in the Order of Phoenix. They were willing to die to make sure that Voldemort is going to be going down, and so then they could live in a better world with less evil. They knew what they were signing up for, and, you know, they didn't care if they died. You know, if Cedric was a part of the Order or something later on when the Order resurrects itself, or if he was a part of Dumbledore's army and then he died, then I would have been less bothered by it, because then he would have been knowing what he signed up for. He would have been passionate for the cause to be risking his life. And also, he would have been willing to die for the cause, you know? Like everyone else was. But because Cedric died before any of this spiraled out, then it was really heartbreaking for me. Whose death in Harry Potter have you been most disheartened by? If you were to die for a cause, what would you die for? Do vidania.